Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into something huge, a profound shift that's changing the game for every single one of us. We're living longer, a lot longer, and this incredible extension of life, well, it could be an amazing gift. But if we're not careful, if we just keep doing things the old way, it could actually become a curse. Let's just start with a number. A child born today in a developed country, think the US, Canada, Japan, has at least a 50% shot of living past this age. Now, to put that into perspective, just a century ago, your chance of hitting that age was less than 1%. This isn't science fiction anymore, folks. It is our new reality.
So we have this incredible gift of more time, but that gift forces us to ask a really tough question. Because the old map for life, the one our parents and grandparents followed, that map might just be leading us straight off a financial and, frankly, a personal cliff.
To really get why this is such a big deal, we first need to look back. We need to understand the simple, successful model that basically defined what it meant to live a life in the 20th century. It was this clear, predictable blueprint that, for generations, just worked.
For our parents and grandparents, life pretty much followed this straight line. It was divided into three very distinct stages. First, you learn, then you work, and finally, you retire. Each stage happened at a pretty predictable age, and our entire society was built around this lockstep progression.
So let's meet Jack. He's our classic baby boomer, born right after the war, and his life fit this three-stage model perfectly. The expectation was simple: go to school, work for about 40 years, and then enjoy a pretty short retirement. The whole system was basically tailor-made for him.
And check this out. To hit a pretty standard retirement goal, about 50% of his final salary, Jack had this amazing support system. It was like a three-legged stool. You had the state pension, the company pension, and then his own savings. This meant he only had to personally come up with about 40% of the total. So how much did Jack actually have to save from his own pocket? To hit his goal, he only needed to put away this small percentage of his income each year. Think about that. It was a totally manageable, almost background task in his financial life. And because it worked so well for Jack and millions of others in his generation, it created this incredibly powerful blueprint. It just became the default expectation for his kids and grandkids. But here's the problem. The blueprint stayed the same, even as the world was changing dramatically. Okay, let's dive into the messy part. Because simply trying to stretch Jack's three-stage life over a much, much longer lifespan, well, that creates a massive structural problem, not just for us as individuals, but for all of society. This chart, wow, it illustrates the societal strain perfectly. This is the old age dependency ratio in Japan. Basically, it's how many retirees there are for every 10 workers. Back in 1960, 10 workers supported just one retiree. Simple enough. By 2050, that same group of 10 workers will have to support 7 retirees. A system like that makes state pensions as we know them fundamentally unsustainable. And that brings us to Jimmy, who's from Generation X. He's on track to live 15 years longer than his dad, Jack. But he entered a world where those financial safety nets were already starting to disappear. Things like company pensions, pretty much gone. So with no company pension and a much longer retirement to fund, Jimmy's savings burden just explodes. To retire at 65 like his dad, he needs to save this much of his income every single year. That is nearly 4 times what Jack had to save. I mean, that's an incredibly difficult goal to maintain your entire career. And now let's talk about Jane. She's a millennial, and she has been given this incredible gift of a 100-year life. But for her, if she tries to follow that old map, the model doesn't just fray, it completely shatters. This table just lays it all out crystal clear. To retire at the traditional age of 65 and then fund a 35-year retirement, Jane has to save a quarter of her income. Not just for a few years, but every single year of her working life. Let's be honest, for most people, that is just not realistic. And this is the curse of a long life if we don't adapt. The only way to make the old math work is to just keep working for 50 or 60 years without a real break. This turns the gift of extra time into this grueling marathon of exhaustion, where our skills get old and our energy just fades away.
So this means we need a fundamentally new approach. We literally have to throw out the old map and design a new one. We have to move from that rigid 3-part life to a flexible, multi-stage life.
This comparison really nails the shift in thinking we have to make. We're moving from a world where your age dictates your stage in life to one where your stage is totally independent of your age. The focus shifts from just recreation, having fun, to recreation, actively investing in yourself and reinventing yourself. And that requires a whole new way of thinking about what an asset is. In this new model, these so-called intangible assets become just as critical as your financial ones. And it makes sense, right? I mean, what good is a huge bank account at age 80 if your skills are totally obsolete, your health is poor, and your relationships have all withered away? A long life demands a balanced portfolio of financial and personal assets. Okay, so let's see how this all builds into a completely new way of thinking about our time, our careers, and even our identities. This is where the gift of a long life really starts to take shape. So what does this look like in the real world? Well, it means accepting that you'll probably have 2, maybe 3 different careers, not just one. It means learning doesn't stop when you're 21. You're going to have to take time out to reskill. And it means we stop judging people based on their age and instead start looking at their stage of life, their skills, and their energy. Your life path might end up looking more like this. Instead of one long climb up a single mountain followed by a sharp drop, it's more like a series of different stages. You might have a period of exploration, then build a career, then intentionally shift to something new, and you continue to contribute and work in new ways well into your 70s and beyond. All of this, the tough financial realities, the need for new skills, this whole new shape of life, it all brings us to the most important question of all. It's the one that this new reality forces each and every one of us to confront personally. Look, planning for a 70-year life? That's ancient history. The real challenge and the real opportunity is to start making choices today that your 80, 90, or even 100-year-old self will look back on and thank you for. Now that is how we turn the gift of a long life into a life that is truly well lived.